is Craig Smith, and I'm the proud principal of Lake Newman Charter High School. I thank you for checking out our digital media to give you a brief, but yet hopefully informational tour of Lake Newman Charter High School. A lot of the information that we're going to share today is also available on our website, and there's definitely a lot more information on the website that will be communicated in this video production. That being said, I appreciate you taking the time to view this digital tour, and I welcome you inside Lake Newman Charter High School. Lake Newman Charter High School is approximately 800 students, where we have roughly on average 200 students per grade level. We front load our freshman class a little bit, and our senior class this year we're expected to have about 185 graduating seniors, so we have about 220 in the freshman class. That averages out to about 800 students in the entire school. It's a nice size in which that I feel like it's small enough where I have facial recognition of every student that comes in, but yet it's big enough that our students have the opportunity to be individuals and don't feel like there's someone that's constantly on top of them at all times. I've worked in high schools that are twice as large as this one, and I'll say that I think that our parents would also agree that the individual attention that our students get at Lake Newman Charter is part of what makes our school great. To my right is our MultiPurpose Room, which is probably the most appropriately named spots in this campus. As of right now, it's set up for our lunch, but you would see that in the afternoons, currently we have things ranging from the Miss LNC rehearsal, our theater productions take place in there, our football team dinners, but during the day, during fourth period, it's where all of our students eat lunch. It's also where I have faculty meetings, where there's other community-based meetings in the evenings, and then there's club meetings that take place in there in the mornings after school as well. So this is one place that every single one of our 800 students at some point during the day comes through this room for their lunch. As I'm sure you are well aware, Lake Newman Charter is a college prep curriculum. But within that college prep curriculum, which is a very rigorous academic requirement, all of our students have at least one arts requirement for graduation. Now, students that are in band, theater, chorus, that credit is obtained through that program, but other students that are not involved in those areas will take at least one art course. And many students, it's just limited to Art 1. But other students, they will take beyond Art 1 into Art 2, 3, and then possibly into a Ceramics 2, 3, 4. So this is an example of one of our art classrooms. We have two art classrooms that are adjoining, and these classrooms were customized to be specifically for art, and our art teachers actually were involved in the creative process for these classrooms. So to say that these are customized for our art teachers is actually accurate. So in the back of the building, we have a lot of equipment that a lot of times you wouldn't think would be in a school that has only two art teachers or a smaller art program. But like I said before, the range of classes that our students are able to take range from art to crafts, where they actually do clay work. We have a kiln that is adjacent to this room that our art teachers also use. Right outside our art classrooms is our school counseling area. We have 3 full-time counselors at the high school. These counselors, for the first time this current school year, 2017-2018, actually work with students 9 through 12. Previously, we had a model that had a separate counselor for our 9th graders, but when we expanded to the 3 full-time counselors, we felt like it was very important to be able to give our counselors an opportunity to build relationships with those students 9th grade all the way through 12th. So you can imagine, having the same counselor for 3-4 years. By the time they get to the point where they're doing the college applications, scholarship opportunities, our counselors know our students very, very well. So that's something that we're very proud of. This is where we have various scholarship information displayed, college visits that go on throughout the day. A lot of times there's high volumes in the months of October, November, so students have the opportunity to sign up through our Naviance program to attend various college visits. Those college visits are not limited to schools in this region. We'll have schools visit all the way from the Midwest, the Northeast, out West, and then students are able to sign up and attend those if it's a school that they're interested in. That all is circulated from our school counseling. We're going to continue moving this way, which the structure of our building is that our classrooms are organized by department. So we pass the arts. Coming up here are going to be our world language, specifically some of our Spanish classrooms. In the main hall, our English classrooms are all next to each other. Our social studies are all by each other. And then on the second floor, one end of the building is science, which specific science labs, and the other side is math. So the structure, the layout of our building is that since it's built by department or arranged by department, that means that students 9th through 12th all kind of intermingle with each other during class changes. And that's something that is a paradigm shift from families that have that middle school where everything is organized 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade, 5th grade that way. At Lake Newman Charter, our building is organized where it's the teachers of the same departments and content teams are by each other. One of the added benefits to that is the ongoing informal collaboration that just takes place naturally, organically during class change, and it also gives an opportunity for our students to kind of all be mingled in together. Lake Newman Charter is a one-to-one, what we call the one-to-world program. If you have students that are already at Lake Newman Charter, then you know that depending on which building it is, they may have a different device. We at the high school for the first year are incorporating our laptops. We have Dell laptops that every student utilizes. There is a tech cost that our families produce at the beginning of the year, and basically those students have full access to their laptop. They take it home with them. They use it in all of their classes. The middle school, our Lake Newman Charter middle school students have iPads. Previously at the high school we utilized iPads, but our tech committee was very intentional and spent a lot of time, research, thought, intentionality, and we decided that our students were going to be best served that if a student comes through 512, that they get experience in 2 different platforms. We got a lot of feedback from alumni in the last couple of years that there were certain programs that our students were not getting experience on limited with an iPad. One thing, a lot of work with Microsoft Excel, and as our students were getting to college, their instructors and professors had certain expectations that students were going to have experience on certain platforms, and we realized that at the high school level, our students were not getting those experiences. Now the nice thing is we still have iPads available within the building that teachers can sign out and utilize within their own classrooms, and you're actually maybe going to be able to see some of that utilization on this digital tour today. Okay. So this is the tech suite, and the 2 primary aspects of this room is split into half. One is the tech suite, and the other side is the collab lab. So I'm going to talk about the tech suite first. We have the support needed to provide the support for our students with their laptops, but also obviously to our teachers, their smart boards, the hardware, software within their classrooms. So with that, we have a teacher, Mr. Cox, who is our technology support teacher, but also we have students that are able to sign up and participate in what we call an internship, which is a tech support, which you'll see the gentleman behind me. Their primary role is to learn ways that they support through tech support, through different networking skills. It's basically an opportunity for them to obtain skills while also supporting our students. So if a student has an issue with a laptop, they will come right in here, they'll come to what we call the help desk, and they will try to troubleshoot that. Now a lot of times our students are able to troubleshoot right on the spot as they gain that experience, but if it's something that they can handle, obviously then they elevate it to Mr. Cox. On the other side of that, if you can see kind of the structure layout of this, and hopefully throughout this digital media you'll be able to see what is considered to be various learning environments, learning spaces, and alternative seating. This is the collab lab, and certain periods of the day you may walk by here and you may see students working on a group project. You may see students that their schedules are abbreviated because they take a career in college promise class through CPCC, so they have a gap in their schedule, so they may be working here, maybe sitting at the table. First of all, this furniture that you see was all donated by our PTO, our extremely supportive, phenomenal parent-teacher organization, through a grant application that Mrs. Jamie Lord, who is our instructional technology facilitator, put in, because we know where students are most comfortable working. They're not in the traditional desk rows. Our students like to be productive at places like local establishments, coffee houses, places like that. So we want to try and customize that in ways that we know that students are most comfortable in areas, learning spaces that are different than what you may call a traditional classroom. Hopefully you have an opportunity to actually see some of that in our classrooms, our teachers that really provide innovative learning spaces within their classroom. suite, if you were to walk through our hallway, you would see this green wall. Now, some people may look at that and know exactly what it's for, but others may not. This is our implemented green screen, which is a result as our teachers were getting more innovative and providing more product-based learning within their classroom. We saw that there was a lot of students that were filming, and they were utilizing iPads and different devices to film with green screen technology. But the problem is we didn't have any type of green screen available spaces, so we had teachers that were literally using big green pieces of paper and putting them all over the wall. Well, in response to that, we thought, well, let's go ahead and just make sure that it's the right green. But let's go ahead and put a green screen up on the wall. And actually, some of our teachers have green space in their classroom for that purpose. The students behind me are working on a world history product, and what they are doing is they are actually utilizing the iPads that are not assigned because they have their laptops, but they're using their iPads that Mr. Bates checked out through the tech suite, and they're going to use those iPads to film some green screen technology. So as we're walking through, you may see some other students in the hallways that are utilizing different devices to create their own products aligned with their world history or maybe even another class. So this is Mr. Bates' class. This is a 9th grade world history class, and you can see the students, the majority of them have their laptops out. That's what they're working on. Mr. Bates is actually, he has been a teacher part of Lake Newman Charter since the high school was created, so he is one of our good old vets, as he would kindly also say. So this is Mr. Bates' classroom.
At Lake Newman Charter, I have the opportunity to collaborate with teachers from not only my own department, but across the curriculum, while at the same time I have the freedom to develop my own lesson plans to curtail to my particular students. And I like the opportunity to really make rigorous lessons, and I can expect students to have high expectations for me, and I can have high expectations for them as well.
Next classroom we're going to go into is Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown is a former charter school teacher of the year for the state of North Carolina, which put him as a finalist as the North Carolina Teacher of the Year, so it's something that we're very proud of. He actually received that award in 2016. This is an American History 2 class.
And it was a document C, 1900, 1909, 1910 to 1919. What's the general pattern here? Fine. All right. Any questions on that document? All right. Another one hand piece here. Next one. Gospel singer Malia Jackson remembers Chicago 1966, so she's looking back.
The structure of a high school student schedule is a little bit different than what a lot of the traditional public schools have in the area. Most high school students in the area have what's considered a block schedule, where at Lake Newman Charter we have a period schedule. So students have 7 classes, and they have those classes from the start of school in August all the way through the end of the year in June. Each class is 53 minutes long, and that allows those students to avoid having certain gaps. For example, if you have block scheduling, you may have Spanish 1 first semester your freshman year, and then you wouldn't have Spanish 2 until second semester your sophomore year. So you can think you've had almost a full calendar year in between those. That's one benefit of having the period scheduling. 2, being able to manage and learn how to adjust your time, and really with time management of having multiple classes. Yes, it is a little bit of a higher workload if you think about you've got 7 classes to manage, but the instructional time is definitely maximized in a 53-minute class as opposed to a 90-minute class. I could go into a number of classrooms. If I was in there during the first minute, or if I was in there between a minute before the bell, you would see high student engagement, and obviously throughout that 53 minutes. So the maximizing instructional time is a huge benefit to having the 53-minute schedule, as well as being able to give our students the experience of working through that course and content throughout the year. Now, some of our courses are what we consider to be double blocked, and those advanced placement courses are AP Chemistry, AP Biology, and AP Physics. So if a student has one of those 3 classes, they actually have that class for 2 periods back to back. For example, they may be in AP Physics 6th period and 7th period, where it's considered one class, but that's because of the lab element to it. In addition, I mentioned Career and College Promise. A student may have a Career and College Promise course where they are a junior or a senior, and through our partnership with Central Piedmont Community College, and it's not just the campus that's located by us, there's the other campuses throughout Mecklenburg County, they may have what's considered a gap in their schedule where they may not have a 4th or 5th period, so they come 1st, 2nd, 3rd, they're off for 4th and 5th to accommodate their schedule for Central Piedmont. Then they come back 6th and 7th. So we do have a lot of flexibility with our schedule because of the 7-period format that allows us to really maximize the opportunities that our students have. As you can see, now we're in our gym, and part of when you talk about community partnerships, we've partnered with the town of Huntersville, and we've partnered with them for a number of years, and it's a very successful partnership in the way that they actually help fund this gymnasium that we use primarily for our PE classes and for our athletics, but then the town of Huntersville is allowed to use them during after hours for various rec leagues, youth basketball, adult leagues, things like that. So if you've come by Lake Newman Charter on the weekends, you may see that there's action going on in this gym. Parking lot may be filled and there may not be a Lake Newman Charter event. It's the town of Huntersville, and that's a partnership that we look to continue to expand on with our new property and our elementary school. But what you have behind me is you can see there's some active pickleball going on. All of our students, and this is a North Carolina graduation requirement, have to take health and PE. Now the majority of our students take health and PE when they're 9th graders. It's not required, but typically students take it as a 9th grader. And it's a co-ed PE class. We have 2 PE teachers within the school, and for 6 weeks they're in the physical education part of it, which is what you see behind me. The other 6 weeks they're in a classroom doing the health component, and our 2 PE teachers alternate that. So every 6 weeks they go classroom and then physical education. But then beyond that, we have some PE electives such as team sports and physical conditioning. Physical conditioning, you're going to get a lot more weight room and sport-specific opportunities, where team sports is exactly what it sounds like. You get exposure. The curriculum is aligned with a lot of team sports, but our PE department is very strong, and they're always looking at different ways to incorporate different sports. Behind me, pickleball, this is actually probably one of our more popular sports. They go do classroom tournaments and they play doubles, and as you can see, it's mixed in with gender, so you've got females and males that are playing together and competing with each other. Located within our gym is our weight room. Now, the weight room is utilized during the school day for our physical conditioning classes, but also primarily for our athletic teams for strength and agility development. This has been a work in progress, and we're constantly updating and improving the equipment that's in here. But as far as a weight room training space, this is extremely high quality. It's one thing that we're really proud of. Our student athletes utilize this. For example, during the fall, every single day after school, there was at least one athletic team that was in here utilizing the space, and they all work together through our athletic department to give those opportunities for our students. But furthermore, our PE teachers utilize the space for physical conditioning, and also our faculty members utilize this space as well for their own strength and conditioning development.
Lake Norman Charter Athletics is a 2A school. We are part of the South Fork 2A, which consists of the Lincoln County schools, Maiden, Newton Conover, and Bandy's. We have a strong athletic program here. Not only are we great academically, as everyone knows, but our athletic programs are strong. We have won state championships in soccer, cross country, tennis. We've also won the Wells Fargo Cup a few years back, which is the best overall athletic program in the state of North Carolina for the 2A, the 1A, 2A division.
So we're back in the MultiPurpose Room, and believe it or not, looking at what time it is in probably about 15-20 minutes, this room is going to look very differently than it does right now, because we'll have about 400 students that'll be in here eating lunch, and then about probably 300 of them will actually be in the MultiPurpose Room, and 100 of them will be out in our student courtyard when the weather's nice like it is today. And one thing that you would notice if you came in here is that our students are allowed to use their own electronic devices during lunch and also during class change, before school and after school. I've worked in schools where students were not allowed to use that, as soon as they came in the building, had to be off and away. I believe it's important to give those students an opportunity to develop responsible use. So during class changes, during lunch, you may see students with headphones on, listening to music. You may see them, on their phones, looking at their social media. They may be texting other people. That's perfectly allowed. But when they go into the classroom, the students are expected to turn those off and put them away. Now, sometimes teachers may allow students, depending on what they're doing within that day, within that instructional design, allow students to use their devices, but the expectation is when students go into that classroom for that 53 minutes, those devices are off and away, but in the non-instructional situation throughout the school day, they are able to use those.
What makes working at Lake Norman Charter so special is, number one, our students. We have such a close-knit community here at our school. I think due to the smaller class sizes, due to the abundance of extracurricular activities we have available for these kids to participate in. They form really close relationships, and then I can also form really close relationships with them too. Another thing is our environment. I think we have a really academic, rigorous environment. Students know the expectations and they live up to them. And lastly, I think what's really special about this school is the support that we get from administration, from the community, and from parents. We have a great family atmosphere here, and our parents are very heavily involved, and it's great to see.
So one of the key features I think that most parents would find beneficial for coming to a charter school is that 20% of kids that are, I would say, disruptive in a school or a classroom aren't at a charter school, aren't here. So therefore, that allows teachers to spend more time with instruction and helping the kids that need it. They don't have to focus on the classroom management aspects of education as much as a traditional school would. The kids at Lake Norman Charter have established a culture here that you'd be proud to have your child be a part of. The culture here is of one of excellence. The students are striving to learn and achieve in the classrooms. There's tutoring offered by all teachers in their subject matter, so students are able to get the help they need, but they have to put forth the effort to do so. At the same time, the academic success is going to follow because of what's been laid before, of not having the discipline issues in the classroom, by having the teachers able to spend more time with the students that need it. Also, there's a lot of collaboration in classrooms. We have students teaching students. We have the ability to take AP classes here pretty much your last 2 to 3 years. You can get college credit at the college campus across the parking lot. So there are a lot of bonuses to attending Lake Norman Charter as opposed to traditional. And the parental support is also huge. Parents are really involved in what's going on here. They stay up to date on what's happening. So therefore that keeps everybody on their toes, but also it's accountability on the parents. So everything is sort of working to produce a top-notch product out of high school. And that pretty much is the focus for this charter school, is that so that they are college ready when they leave us.
Lake Norman Charter's mission is together we learn, lead, and serve. Now, the elements of that I really want to point out, first, together. Part of being a part of Lake Norman Charter is the shared ownership of all of our stakeholders, and that's students, faculty, parents, and the community. It's truly a shared partnership, but the 3 pillars, learn, lead, and serve. Learn is the academics. Lead, our students are engaged in our Leadership in Action program, which is a truly K-12 component where our elementary school students are being exposed to specific leader in me characteristics and qualities. The middle school has their embedded program, and new at the high school this year with our 9th grade cohort in 2017-18 is our students are engaged in what's called Leadership in Action, where each session they work on, discuss, and pretty much expose themselves to a specific leadership trait. That is a cohort where those students will work together and they have an advisor, and that's a program that we are implementing this year for the first time that has been years and years of preparation and hard work by our leadership ad hoc committee. And then finally, the service. Every single high school student is required to engage in 10 hours of community service each year, totaling 40 hours over their high school career, and that's a requirement for them to be able to participate in the graduation ceremony. Now, if you think about it, it averages to 2.5 hours per quarter, but a lot of times our students are able to get those 10 hours maybe in one semester or even during the summer, and there's just documentation that goes into that. So those are the 3 pillars of our school with our mission: together we learn, lead, and serve. I want to thank you for taking some time to view this digital production. I want to give my appreciation to student Roger Moore. This was a completely student-produced, student-created piece of digital media, and a lot of it was his own creative genius, so I want to appreciate him. It's impossible to kind of capsulize everything in one video production, so hopefully you found this to be informative, give you an idea of what a typical day at Lake Norman Charter looks like for a high school student. There's definitely a lot more information on our website that can answer some of your questions. I would encourage you to visit our school profile, which can be located on the About Us tab on the school page. If there is something that you ever have a question about, please feel free to contact me. You can email me at csmith@lncharter.org. I'm also on Twitter at csmithgoblue. I encourage you to reach out to me if there's something that specific that I may not have been able to answer or address during this video production. But like I said, I appreciate you taking some time to view what a typical day at Lake Norman Charter looks like, and I appreciate your time.